What if I told you that right now, you're living in the best time in human history? Sounds wild, right? But it's true. We complain about slow Wi-Fi or a bad day at work, but these are luxuries our ancestors couldn't imagine. For most of history, life was a brutal fight for survival. Plagues, famine, violence, and fear were daily realities. Today, we're diving into the darkest chapters of our past, exploring the absolute worst times to be born as a human. Get ready to appreciate your hot shower and clean water a whole lot more. Let's start with Europe in the mid-1300s, the Black Death. Imagine being a peasant. Life is already tough, but suddenly, a mysterious plague sweeps through. Fever, chills, and then black, oozing swellings. No doctors, no cures, just terror. Bodies pile up in the streets, the air reeks of death, and society collapses. You're afraid to touch your own family. Law and order vanish, famine follows. Paranoia and violence erupt as people look for someone to blame. Half your village, half your country, gone in a few years. The Black Death killed up to 200 million people, wiping out as much as half of Europe. Life expectancy plummeted. Reaching adulthood was a miracle. Even if you survived, you faced a shattered world and unimaginable trauma. And if the plague didn't get you, war might. The 100 Years' War raged at the same time. Soldiers pillaged, burned, and killed. There was no safe place. Every day was a desperate gamble for survival. Picture huddling in a cold hut, listening to death carts outside, praying the plague skips your door. Starvation, terror, and isolation defined daily life. This was the reality for millions, an apocalypse that makes our worst days look easy. The Black Death stands as one of the absolute worst times in history to be born. Next, let's see what it was like to be considered property, not a person. Now let's go back to the ancient empires, Rome, Egypt, the Aztecs. We admire their monuments, but for most people life was misery. If you weren't elite, you were expendable, often a slave. In Rome, up to a third of the population were slaves, property, not people. Born into slavery, captured or sold, your life was not your own. Beaten, branded, or killed at a master's whim, you had no rights or hope. Brutal labor in mines, galleys, or construction was your fate. Families were torn apart, futures erased. In the Aztec Empire, human sacrifice was routine. Tens of thousands killed to appease the gods. Lose a war, and you or your children could be next on the altar. Even as a citizen, your life had little value. Justice was for the powerful. A bad harvest meant starvation. A minor injury could be fatal. The gap between rulers and ruled was immense. The Colosseum and pyramids were built on suffering and death. For the bottom 99%, life meant serving, building, fighting, and dying for someone else's glory. No rights, no mercy, no hope. Being born in an ancient empire often meant being a pawn in a brutal game. Now, let's go even further back, to a time before civilization. What if your only enemy was nature itself? Let's travel to prehistory, before empires, before farming. Life expectancy? Maybe 25 years if you were lucky. Every day was a fight for survival against nature and predators. Saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and giant bears saw you as prey. Food meant hunting with sticks and stones. Failure meant starvation. No medicine, no doctors. A simple cut or broken bone could kill you. Giving birth was life-threatening for both mother and child. The world itself was dangerous. Ice ages, floods, wildfires. Shelter was animal skins and fire you had to keep alive. Every shadow could hide a predator. Every rumble a deadly storm. Hunger was constant, and there was no backup plan, no art, no literature, just survival. Your tribe was your only safety net. Lose them, and you were alone. The stress wasn't about deadlines, it was about staying alive until tomorrow. Luck often mattered more than strength or smarts. Being born in this era meant living on the razor's edge between life and death. It was the ultimate test of survival, with no guarantees. Now let's return to the present, and see just how far we've come. Why is today the best time to be alive? Let's find out. Looking back, the plague, slavery, saber-toothed cats, our modern problems seem small. We have medicine, food, and safety our ancestors couldn't dream of. Yes, we face big challenges, but nothing like dying from a tooth infection or being considered property. Next time you're frustrated by slow Wi-Fi, remember how far we've come. Take a moment to appreciate clean water, safety, and the privilege of being alive right now. We stand on the shoulders of generations who endured unimaginable hardship. What do you think was the worst time in history to be born? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay safe and appreciate the present.